Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Fire destroys a section of Edna Manley College. PAHO cautions that COVID-19 could seriously affect unvaccinated children. And later in sports, CPL team for the tournament revealed. I'm Giovanni Dennis and here are the details. The Pan American Health Organization is warning that the COVID-19 pandemic is now having a negative impact on unvaccinated children. The world body says this is a major concern as it calls on countries to find a way to fix the problems. Shamala Pullen reports.
Experts say the COVID-19 pandemic has triggered the worst educational crisis ever seen due to the absence of face-to-face classes.
Our kids have missed more school days than children in any other region. And despite efforts to leverage virtual classrooms, these can never substitute in-person schooling because schools are not only places where children get an education, they are also places where children socialize and can receive mental health support or a nutritious meal.
The COVID pandemic has also disrupted sexual and reproductive health services across more than half of the region, helping to fuel one of the largest jumps in teenager pregnancies seen in decades.
Beyond the direct impact on their health, the virus indirectly has consequences and are hindering their growth and their development and jeopardizing their chances at a bright future. Lockdowns and economic disruptions have increased the risk of domestic violence. And for many kids, homes may not be a safe place.
So far, the only vaccine approved by the WHO for adolescents is the Pfizer. However, Moderna has asked for emergency use approval for children between 12 and 15 years.
Some countries are making their own decisions. There are 2 countries that are already using vaccines in children in the region based on the information. They are Cuba and Chile. And certainly Cuba and Chile have already received the dossier, the information from producers, and the regulatory authorities authorize this. They do not need to justify this to PAHO or the WHO. This is the country's decision.
Meanwhile, Dr. Etienne has this appeal to world leaders.
Countries must act urgently now to restore health, education, and social services to minimize the impact of this pandemic, so no child or teen is left behind.
Shamala Pullen, TVJ News.
A section of the Visual Arts building at the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts in Kingston was destroyed by fire this morning. The Jamaica Fire Brigade says it received the call about the blaze sometime after 9 a.m. 3 fire units subsequently responded.
On arrival, fire was seen coming from the textile building. We got into operation immediately. The fire was contained and confined to the upper floor. Upper floor is completely destroyed. The first floor, the ground floor, was saved. At this time, we wrapping up the operation and starting the investigation to try and ascertain the cause of the fire. There have been no injuries or deaths.
It's understood that school was in session at the time of the blaze.
Given that what is happening here, the students will be sent home early?
Not sure. That does come out of principal's office.
Okay, and that decision has not made yet?
I'm not privy to it.
Okay.
The COVID-19 pandemic has revealed the need for technological resources to boost the efficiency of the country's court system. Speaking at a swearing-in ceremony for Master in Chambers and Judges, President of the Court of Appeal, Patrick Brooks, made an appeal to the government for help. Sandy Williams reports.
Since the COVID-19 pandemic, the world has gone digital, including the courts. The Court of Appeal in particular has been utilizing virtual platforms and an electronic filing system, which has proven to be effective. But President of the Court of Appeal, Patrick Brooks, says a lack of technological resources is affecting the court's efficiency.
The virtual platform and the electronic filing initiatives require technology to accommodate them. And to bring them to an acceptable standard. The court needs appropriate software and techniques that will help us to accommodate the many documents that each appeal has. We need cameras and we need microphones to assist in the process.
He says the court administration has been made aware of the challenges, but there's a roadblock: budgetary constraints.
We have reached out, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, for help with these changes to the technical experts at the Court Administration Division of the Supreme Court. They, however, Your Excellency, have their own challenges with the budget that they have to work with. We look forward to them being provided with the resources so that they can assist the court in allowing it to perform at the level that is expected of it.
Therefore, he's making an appeal to the government.
I want to make an appeal for help. One of the buzz phrases these days, Your Excellency, is don't let a perfectly good crisis go to waste.
Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
The country's COVID-19 hospitalizations have again dipped in the last 24 hours. 708 people are hospitalized, down from 726 on Wednesday. 56 patients are critically ill, while 104 are severely ill. There are 25,793 active cases on the island. On Thursday, Jamaica recorded 601 new COVID-19 cases from 1,669 test samples. The overall case count now stands at 78,590. The positivity rate is 37.5%. Meanwhile, 4 more people have died from the virus. They died on September 14 and 15. 2 of the deaths were recorded in the corporate area. The others were recorded in St. Catherine and St. Mary. The death toll is now 1,772. The St. Anne police are reporting a decline in murders. Head of the division, Senior Superintendent Dwight Powell, is however concerned about the high rate of domestic violence-related deaths.
Since August 1st to date, we have seen some 10 murders being reported in St. Anne. And that is just an uptick in terms of comparison to corresponding period last year. So I'm going to advise, and when I look at the statistic that I just presented, we have a number of domestic-related incidents.
He was speaking at the recent meeting of the St. Anne Municipal Corporation. Now, according to data from the JCF, from January 1 to September 14, St. Anne recorded 38 murders for the period compared to 47 in the corresponding period. In the meantime, there were also reductions in other major categories of crime, such as shootings, rape, and robberies, which are down by 11, 2, and 17 respectively. The only category which saw an increase is break-ins, which increased by 21 for a total of 76 year to date. A shipment of cocaine valued at $40 million has been seized in Montego Bay, St. James. A 39-year-old mechanic was arrested. About 3 p.m. Wednesday, the police intercepted a vehicle driven by the mechanic and seized nearly 12 pounds of cocaine valued at $250,000. This is the second such seizure in Montego Bay in recent weeks. And it's now time for a break here on the Midday News, but please stay with us. We'll have much more when you return. Welcome back. We're continuing the news. Complaints this afternoon from residents of Westmead Villas in Portmore, St. Catherine about a sewage problem in their community. The Housing Agency of Jamaica says it's aware of the matter and is now looking at a long-term solution. O'Shane Masters has more.
Residents of Westmead Villas in Portmore, St. Catherine are calling for the Housing Agency of Jamaica, HAJ, to address a long-standing sewage problem. They say they are tired of a temporary fix and are calling for a permanent solution. One resident says he has been living in the community for 8 years and has been experiencing this issue since he moved to the community.
As you see, the overflow it has been recurring for 3 weeks now, consecutively, with 2 times they have come and repair it.
He says each time the issue resurfaces, an unbearable stench blankets his home. According to HAJ, the issue is caused by improper disposal of waste, which clogs a line, causing damage. But the residents aren't buying that story.
The problem I have with that is that the pump that they're saying is too small. So for such a small community, it's supposed, whatever pump size they have, supposed to manage it. So we just need a permanent fix, not a temporary fix. So every 3 months, we have to, as a community, have to be calling on them to come and clear a line.
They say the situation is dire as children are at risk.
The problem I have now is children, mosquito is always a factor, but children that play, they would ride around, they would play in the sewage because they don't know, because a new community, young children who don't know the danger of the sewage problem that we're having.
When our news center contacted the HAJ Corporate Communications Manager, Nakia McMorris, confirmed that the HAJ is aware of the issue.
The resident is right that this is an ongoing problem that the agency is aware of, and we do ongoing maintenance of the area in regards to the sewage problem. Now, apparently, and this is what I heard, that it did happen from Ida, but we were not contacted about the problem until September 3rd, and so the agency immediately reacted to that. And we went out on September 4th.
Mrs. McMorris says normalcy should return within 48 hours. She also disclosed that the HAJ is looking at a long-term solution.
It is a legacy issue for HAJ, meaning a project from a long time ago. And so what we are planning to do at this point is to execute the long-term fix, which would be tying them into the central system, and we plan to do it this fiscal year.
In the meantime, the agency is appealing to the community to practice proper disposal of waste to help eliminate the problem.
Residents of Wharf Lane and Orange Bay in Portland are appealing to authorities to fix the roads in their community. According to residents, due to the conditions of the road, drivers are refusing to transport them home.
There used to be a road here before it turned into a path of stones. According to residents, it's time for the road to be repaired.
It's a full time now for the road fix. Because the road is fixed already, but they never cut no drain pan it, so the rain fall and it mash up. And years now we are living in IC and we have to live such a vehicle man I want to carry.
But the road is not the only issue. The community also has no water, forcing residents to pay large sums for the commodity.
$500 jump. So the 2 jump there for $1,000, I just pay $1,000 for the, and I'm one that the man say. He said $1,200 for one, but he just take the 1,000. Come since I'm not no more.
Yes, I have to buy in water twice a week, and it's just like $6,000 per week for my water. So I don't know what they're doing here.
Member of Parliament for the area, Daryl Vaz, has since responded to the concerns. In terms of the water, he revealed that the Portland Municipal Corporation has put into operation a new water source above the existing source in Hopewell. He added that a collaboration with the Rural Water Supply Limited is underway to develop the Crystal Spring source in Spring Garden to provide water for the people of Orange Bay to Black Hill. The project is expected to become effective by the next financial year. As for the road, he says the National Works Agency has recently accepted bids from contractors to rehabilitate the Wharf Lane Road. That project is expected to cost approximately $20 million.
Family and friends of a man who went missing on Thursday, September 2, are seeking the public's help in locating him. 65-year-old Carlton Blackwood was last seen in Mandeville, Manchester. It's understood that Mr. Blackwood lived alone in the rural flat community in the parish. At the time he went missing, he was wearing a black jacket and striped shirt with dark pants. If anyone has seen or knows his whereabouts, they are being asked to contact the Mandeville Police Station at 876-961-5538. And it's now time for the Business Minute. Here's Cody and Barrett.
In the world of business, Limnars and Bars Limited, the lab, has reported an increase in profits during the 9-month period which ended July 31, 2021. Gross profits increased by 25.2% or $57.4 million. The company says the increase is mainly attributable to an increase in direct cost associated with production and media placement. Net profits also increased by $34.4 million or 31.9% to $142.1 million. And during the April to June quarter, Sagicor Select Fund Financial reported a net profit of $72.9 million. This was an improvement for the fund, which suffered a $323.7 million loss during the same period in 2020. Revenues for the period also improved, amounting to $88.2 million. The company's performance during the 3 months was reflective of an upward movement in the price for most financial stocks. And coming up in the Business Review this Sunday, a new flight training school has emerged, taking the aviation industry to newer heights. And that's it for the Business Minute this week. I'm Cody Ann Barrett.
Now for the top regional and international stories, here's O'Shane Masters.
In the region, the main opposition Progressive Liberal Party PLP in the Bahamas was victorious on Thursday, 4 years after it was severely trounced by the Free National Movement FNM in the country's general elections. In the last general election, the FNM won 35 of the 39 seats. However, preliminary results on Thursday showed that the PLP won 32 of the seats, with 7 going to the FNM. In his victory speech, PLP leader Philip Davies thanked candidates and supporters for reversing the dark days of 2017. He told the electorate they voted with brave hearts, hearts full of hope for the country. The Belize government on Thursday announced no movement days as well as a countrywide curfew from Monday next week amid rising COVID cases and deaths. The country recorded 385 deaths and 18,143 infections. A statement issued after the weekly cabinet meeting said that the curfew would remain in effect for the next 2 weeks. The authorities appealed to nationals to get vaccinated in a bid to stem the spread of the virus. Further afield, the FDA is to discuss whether Pfizer booster shots 6 months after the second dose will be needed. It will examine whether immunity is waning and if boosters will restore it. U.S. health experts will be looking at data from Israel, which started giving boosters July 29th. According to the data, the more time that is passed after the initial vaccination, the more likely people were to get breakthrough infections. It also showed a third dose makes breakthrough infections less likely by turbocharging the production of antibodies. But a briefing document ahead of today's meeting makes it clear the FDA wants US data. And that's it for the top regional and international stories. I'm Shane Masters.
And we now head to a quick break, but when we come back, Simon Preston will have the Midday Sports.
Welcome back. It's now time for Midday Sports. I'm Simon Preston. Dean Smith is the only Jamaican that has been selected in the Caribbean Premier League's team of the tournament. The 24-year-old's selection comes after he tallied 18 wickets in 11 matches for the Guyana Amazon Warriors. His contribution was pivotal to the Amazon Warriors as they made it to the semi-finals of the competition. Only Ravi Rampal with 19 took more wickets than Smith. Faf du Plessis and Tim David were the only overseas players selected in the team of the tournament. The rest of the 11 reads Evan Lewis, Nicholas Puran, Roston Chase, Kyron Pollard, Sunil Narain, Romario Shepherd, Akil Hussain and Ravi Rampal. The West Indies under-19 team ended their tour of England on a winning note after getting the better of the home side by 17 runs a short while ago. Batting first, the Caribbean side were bowled out for 230 in their 50 overs. Matthew Nandu top scored for the Caribbean side with 80. Sonny Baker took 4 for 41 for England. In reply, the English were bowled out for 213. Vashant Singh took 4 for 51 for the young West Indians. England won the 6-match series 4-2. The West Indies were using this series in preparation for the Under-19 Cricket World Cup next year. Newcastle United will be looking to move out of the relegation zone as they host Leeds United at St James's Park in action from the English Premier League this afternoon. Newcastle are 19th in the table on 1 point, while Leeds are 17th on 2 points. Kickoff is at 2 o'clock Jamaica time. EPL action continues on Saturday with a slate of 6 fixtures. And finally, this afternoon, Conan Osborne headlines Jamaica's 13-member squad, which has been selected for the World Rugby Sevens series this weekend. The 28-year-old Osborne, who will be playing in his 19th tournament for Jamaica, has 94 caps and could be the first Jamaican to hit 100 appearances in Rugby Sevens in Vancouver. Vice-captain Ashane Eddy and veteran Fabian Turner are the only local-based players in the squad. The other members of the team are Ashley Smith, Sam Rees, Joshua Jaka, Nathaniel Anake, Anthony Bingham, Mark Phillips, Ben Jones-Bishop, Jack Rampton, Lucas Roy-Smith and Nicholas Franklin. The Crocs will face Great Britain, Ireland and Hong Kong in the group stages of the tournament. And that is it for your Midday Sports Report. I'm Simon Preston. Giovanni, it is over to you.
Thanks so much, Simon. And that's it indeed for the Midday News. I'm Giovanni Dennis. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, have a good afternoon.